Hello, I'm Rosemary Church at CNN Centre. We are getting word of a powerful earthquake that has hit Japan. I want to go to Kyung La now, who's standing by there with more information on this. So what are you able to tell us?
Well, Rosemary, I can tell you pretty much what we've experienced. I'm actually in a subway, and just a few minutes ago, we experienced the epicenter clearly was offshore. This was not a direct hit on the island of Honshu, which is the island that Tokyo is on. But we felt a very significant earthquake. Everything was shaking. The signs were moving. People became very alarmed. And there was a similar earthquake, but not quite as strong as this, just a couple of days ago. So what we see now is that the warning alerts are on. Many of the lights are off. Trains have been stopped. And people are just basically waiting here, waiting to see what's going to happen next.
Yeah, and of course, we're getting word it was a 7.9 quake. That's a big quake that hit. And as you mentioned, I mean, you and I were talking a couple of days ago when that other one hit. And one remark you made, which was very important, I thought, I took note of that, was that you said the quake lasted, or it felt like it lasted, for about 3 minutes. Similar today that we're feeling. I would actually say it probably went on a little bit longer than that, maybe 4 or 5 minutes today. So yes, these are very, very strong earthquakes. The initial information we have is that it appeared to be a quake still off the shores, somewhere in the water. So at this point, I don't know if a tsunami alert has been issued or not. But yes, you're pointing it out. It is something that many people in Tokyo, again, are feeling the second time in just a couple of days. How, as we report this breaking news of a 7.9 magnitude quake in Japan, let's go to our Ivan Cabrera now, who's standing by at the International Weather Center. Ivan, of course, critical here is the possibility of this tsunami alert. Any information on your side?
Not only do we have a tsunami watch now for the coast of Japan, but we have a warning as well. And the Japan Meteorological Agency is stating that a major tsunami could be hitting the coast within the next few hours. So this is a serious situation here we're going to stay on top of, and we're going to be talking here for quite some time. This is a major earthquake, a 7.9. It happened about 150 kilometers east of the coast. A tsunami, we don't know if it was generated. Japan Meteorological Agency says it has, but I'm looking at the USGS info, and I don't have wave heights yet. We'll continue to refresh these and keep you posted on that. But as far as the tsunami warning, I'll tell you who's, in for it here. In effect for Japan, again, a warning versus a watch. Warning means coming. Japan, Russia, Marcus Islands, and the Northern Marianas. And then we have a tsunami watch for a bunch of countries here, including, in fact, Guam, Taiwan getting in on that as well, Philippines, Marshall Islands, Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, Hawaii. So this is a situation here that is going to be ongoing here. Again, a watch means that we could have a tsunami. We are going to continue to update you based on those levels that we get from the buoys that are out there in the Pacific. And once we know for sure that a tsunami was generated, then we'll be able to get fresher data and as far as the wave heights to see what kind of tsunami we're talking about here. But I'll share with you the information now coming from the tsunami warning agency, the Japan Meteorological Agencies. They are telling folks Pacific coast of Tohoku to evacuate the seashore immediately to safe places near and above the coast. That is where the tsunami warning has been posted. We have, and then further down to the south along the coast here, we have tsunami watches. When tsunamis are generated, if a tsunami was generated and you're within 100 kilometers of the tsunami, you're not going to have much time here. So if something is going to happen along the coast of Japan, Rosemary, it's going to be happening within the next couple of hours here. These
sorts of earthquakes.
We're actually going through another. We're actually going through another earthquake right now. This may be an aftershock of some sort.
Tell us what are you seeing?
I don't know if you can. What we're seeing now, again, we're seeing the signs shaking back and forth. The area that I'm in right now doesn't have a lot of people in it because everyone's kind of stuck in the underground area. But yeah, it doesn't appear to be as powerful as the one we experienced minutes ago. But yeah, the signs are definitely shaking. We are definitely going through another
it appears to be an aftershock from what we experienced.
That is very shallow, so a 7.9 earthquake, almost a great earthquake here with a 24-kilometer epicenter here as far as the depth. That has generated a tsunami. I don't have the wave heights here, but there's, I would be shocked and surprised if this thing had not generated. Well, take a look at the pictures there, wow. Rosemary. Again, you're watching it there coming in. That is
unbelievable. Look at that.
That is arriving on the coast. As you're watching these dramatic pictures there from Japan, the earthquake occurring about 150 kilometers east of Sendai, I do want to mention that Japan is not the only place that is being affected here, but my goodness, it is now taking the brunt of it there. Rosemary, that is unbelievable.
Extraordinary. I mean, you can see the power lines going down as all of that water roars through and rips. And, of course, it is close to the coast. You can see the ships and the boats that are already in the harbour there, but all of the cars are being drawn into that. I mean, this is just extraordinary, seeing these pictures as this unfolds before our very eyes.
We've never seen this. We're watching a live tsunami hit Japan. If you're watching us from around the world here on CNN, that is what you're watching. Those are not taped pictures. That is a live picture of what appears to be a major tsunami arriving along the Japanese coast. Just incredible scenes there.
And, of course, Ivan, let's talk about those waves, because you were saying like 500 miles for our US audience, 800 kilometres per hour for our global audience. I mean, just extraordinary strength involved in that. And you say it comes, presumably that first one is the strongest, and then the ones that follow are weaker. Is that correct or not?
Not necessarily. If you remember in the Banda Aceh tsunami, the initial one was bad enough, but then we had essentially wave 3 and wave 4, which were actually higher and worse. So the damage is ongoing right now. But point, guys in the back there in control room reestablished. I know we've lost what she's seeing and experiencing right now, because as we had been talking to her, Rosemary, as you know, she had been reporting to us the continuous aftershocks. In fact, we just got another one here, pretty significant aftershock, a 6.4, something you would expect from an 8.8 magnitude quake, and that in itself certainly could cause additional problems there. The scenes you're watching there, again, reminiscent, it's just heartbreaking stuff from the Indonesia quake in 2004. What you're seeing there, I don't know what's floating on the water, but that shouldn't be happening. Obviously, there we have some kind of debris that is moving in. And sometimes when you look at these live pictures, Rosemary, the water doesn't seem like it's flowing fast, but it is fast and furious here. And the force can certainly lift you off your feet. It can easily lift cars that we have been seeing there along the coast and everything in its path. Again, Mike.
Actually, in a subway. And just a few minutes ago, we experienced, you know, the epicenter clearly was offshore. This is not a direct hit on the island of Honshu, which is the island that Tokyo is on. But we felt a very significant earthquake. Everything was shaking. The signs were moving. People became very alarmed. And there was a similar earthquake, but not quite as strong as this, just a couple of days ago. So what we see now is that the warning alerts are on, many of the lights are off, trains have been stopped, and people are just basically waiting here, waiting to see what's going to happen next.
Yeah, and of course we're getting word it was a 7.9 quake. That's a big quake that hit. And as you mentioned, I mean, you and I were talking a couple of days ago when that other one hit, and one remark you made, which was very important, I thought, I took note of that, was that you said the quake lasted, or it felt like it lasted, for about 3 minutes. Similar today that we're feeling it. I would actually say. All right, I was talking. That was Kyung La. I was talking to her a short time ago. Of course, since that discussion, that earthquake has now been upgraded to an 8.9. Now, I want you to look at these pictures. Unbelievable! Look at that debris, the mud. This is a tsunami in the. We are watching it unfold before our very eyes. A tsunami of mud and debris and water rushing across the land there in Tokyo. Just extraordinary, these live pictures as we bring them to you. And of course, I wonder if our Ivan Cabrera is there standing by. He's back. Yes. Ivan, can you see these pictures? Unbelievable. This is mud and debris. We can see cars in there. We see buildings.
That is incredible, and as what you would expect with an 8.9 here, these waves can travel for several kilometers well inland. The topography there and the shoreline also very important when we talk about tsunamis here. The shallower we're talking, the worse it's going to be, the higher the wave heights are going to be. We are now upgraded to an 8.9. That is a great earthquake here. Again, this is on par with the 2004 Banda Aceh that generated that major tsunami. Here's what I want to do, if you'll allow me. The tsunami warning is still in effect for Japan, Russia, Northern Marianas. Guam has now been added as well, and Taiwan. Those are now in tsunami warning mode. Taiwan was upgraded as well. We have wave heights reported of 3.5 feet. That's a meter. Again, that's just offshore here. So what happens as that wave continues to build, you run out of ground here, and because of the bathymetry of the shore there, very shallow there, we're seeing you continue to get that wave height becoming higher and higher. Rosemary, a 6.8 in just the last few minutes has hit offshore of Honshu. That in itself would be a major earthquake here. That in itself could actually generate another tsunami here, so we'll have to watch things closely. Again, threat for Japan is not over. As we know, the initial tsunami wave is not the only one that hit. Sometimes the secondary or even the third one that comes in is actually higher and is worse here. So the threat is going to be ongoing here across Japan. And then we have the watches, of course, for the Philippines, Marshall Islands. We have watches for Johnston Island, Solomon Islands, Kiribati, and Hawaii as well. Let me know what you guys want to do, but what I eventually want to do, if you'll allow me, is actually get into the arrival times, because we're not just telling a story that happened ago, right?
Yeah,
this is
let's
do it, because I mean this is
because there's people watching right across the globe who want to know all of that.
This is what people want to know, and I tell you, I'm going to do it in GMT time because that is what I have here. I'm not going to be able to convert that on the fly for you if you're local, but if you're watching us from Taiwan, the tsunami arrives at 9:30 GMT. That is not much time for folks to get off shore here and get into higher ground. Philippines, tsunami arrives at 9:55 GMT. Marshall Islands, tsunami arrives at 10:13 GMT. Indonesia, tsunami arrives at 10:49 GMT. Papua New Guinea at 11:24 GMT. And when we talk about Kiribati, it arrives at 12:28 GMT. Those are the initial arrival times of the first tsunami wave. There could be additional waves, and if you're watching us from places that are under a watch and I didn't name you, that is because you have several hours to prepare yourselves, and we'll continue to update this list as that initial wave continues to get closer. Rosemary.
Ivan, we're looking at these pictures. We can see something is ablaze there on the ground as this very strange wave of mud and debris with boats included and cars and all sorts of things. It's when you see something like this, Ivan, unfold before your very eyes that you get an idea of there's nowhere to run when you have something like that coming so fast toward you. And of course, you know, it appears to be fairly slow when you're looking aerially, but if you're on the ground and that is moving at such a fast speed, you can see the boat there.
Just unbelievable pictures. There's a building or a couple of buildings that are on fire and are moving with the tsunami. That is just something you just never seen before, and there's a pretty big vessel there getting pushed to shore. The one good thing that I'm seeing here, there are homes now in the way, but generally, if you've noticed, Rosemary, this has been through farmland here. There's that fire that I've been talking about, a moving blaze along the tsunami. Just unbelievable stuff.
Yeah.
Here.
And Ivan, I'm getting word there is some nat sound here. Let's just